Welcome. In this video, I'm going to explain how we perform a parametric design study on a snapfit part after creating the model and applying the boundary conditions and applying loads, which is pressure here, and finally measure the displacement and stresses in the snap legs. And finally, we are going to perform a parametric design study, which actually defines what's the optimum design for these snap legs to have a minimum displacement and stress in the whole design after applying pressure. So to perform the simulation, we first have created the model in a structural model creation app. Then switch to mechanical scenario creation app and choose the final element model to be our reference. And then open the assistant tab, which is going to help us a lot to set up the simulation step by step. So first of all, we need to define our final element model. If you double click on that, the application changes to a structural model creation app, which we can generate a tetrahedron mesh with the size of 0.7 millimeters. And then we can set up the simulation as a static step simulation with initial time increments of 0.01 seconds. Then we switch to parts in the system window and assign a material to the part, which is going to be a plastic here. And then we need to assign a solid section to the part. You go into the properties in the action bar and create a solid section for the material. And then we don't need to be worried about connections or interactions because it's not actually assembly. In the boundary condition, we are going to create a clamp on the base so that it doesn't move. And to apply the loads, we are actually choosing 3 surfaces of the heads and apply a certain amount of pressure to those. So we have already created the mesh, everything looks fine. You got green for each part. Then we go ahead and click on simulate to run the first set of simulations. Simulation is over and we can see the legend that helps us to see what is the displacement in each section of the valve or the snapfit, and we can actually change the plot to show the one misses stress, and so that we can see what is the maximum stress in the system or where it happened. After having these results, we can change the platform to Parametric Design Study app and start using again the assistant window so that we can check what is the design variables. For example, here we know that we have 4 different parameters for the snap leg, which is the bottom thickness, bottom width, flange height, and top thickness. We chose those. And about response variable, we want to see actually what is the stress and also displacement in the system. We are going to choose them and define what is the minimum and maximum of those variables in the system. Or if we are not, because they have actually a default value here, but we can also change them. Or and at the same time we can define the objectives. What should be, do we want to minimize the stress or do we want to maximize it, and those variables. Here we can see that we want to minimize the bone misses stress, mass, and also the displacement. Then we go ahead and choose simulate to run the simulation. After doing that, we can see the simulation results. Here we can see on the left window there is a plot that shows all the 4D data points, the samples that were run for different amounts of those input variables, so that they resulted in different stresses and displacements. And the green star show the best actually design that we can use that to create the optimum design with minimum displacement, minimum stress, and minimum mass. I hope that this video could help you to get an idea of how to perform a parametric design study and find the optimum design for your model. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel.